Hello, everyone. It is Kenyon here. It's Basketball Rewind, and today we're going to be talking about a few things that happened this week. Looking forward to the next week in Raptors land, and then we are going to be talking about draft talk. We still can't afford the graphics, so if you people like, comment, and subscribe, we will get to those graphics sooner rather than later. With that being said, I'm going to check in with the two co-hosts today. Coach Roach, Beyond the Locker Room, how are you guys doing? Coach, you first.
Doing good, doing good. Excited for the holiday season and excited for some draft talk.
Yeah,
That's that's
I
right.
feel well much healthier than I was a few weeks ago. Hopefully, so the cough is gone, folks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to some draft talk. It's always interesting times in the NBA. But yeah, overall, myself, yeah, everything's good, man. Looking forward to the discussion today.
Absolutely. We will get into the prospect discussion later on, but we will be discussing three prospects today, and then we might have a chance to go through another three, and then that will probably bring us into the new year, of course, where we will get into more in depth. We will probably, just so people know, we will probably not get to the second round. I know people ask me like in-depth second round questions, and I'm like, it is not even January yet. I know the Raptors are doing bad, but we need to know where we're going to be because covering all 58, 59 picks because someone's forfeiting a draft pick again this year. I can't remember who or for what reason, but someone is. I believe it might even be the Knicks again. So it's not us with Porter. So at some point, we will see what happens, but we will get there when it comes. In terms of the second round, I will also say for when we do it, we'll probably cover guys who are more likely better fits because that's usually how the second round ends up working out. Okay, so this week, guys, we lost two games. We lost against the Knicks. I believe we were at home, so we are on a major home stand. We lost against the Heat. We lost a couple other things this week. First of all, we lost our I won't say integrity, but we lost some sort of level of legitimacy because we are now being removed from national TV games. Um, so yeah, the Raptors have had their last national TV game, which was Wednesday against the Heat, where we were the only team playing, and we also lost Scottie Barnes. Coach, I'll start with you. We could probably start talking about the losses in terms of the WL column before we get to the national TV game portion, or Scotty. Your thoughts on the week?
I think if Towns had not played, I think we probably would have taken down the Knicks. The Knicks did not impress me as much as what I think they need to in terms of where they are at, because it's championship or bust for them right now. Had Scotty finished that game, you kind of wonder if we would have won the game. It took Towns basically going off in the fourth quarter to get them over the top. So that was a tough loss because I think that was a game that we could have had. Uh, RJ's last play in that game, I said it to you guys. The play was fine actually. Pirtle set a good screen on OG. RJ was going downhill, but he made one mistake. He let up. He got caught into the paint, and he tried to do a little pump fake on Towns, and that slowed him up and it allowed OG to recover. You either have to go straight at the chest or you got to pull up for a jump shot, and that's where they kind of got messed up there. But other than that, it was a decent game to watch just as a fan. The Miami game, on the other hand, I missed part of it, but as I was keeping track of the score, it didn't really shock me to see that Miami was starting to pull away in the game. I know Toronto started out fairly well, but it's just hard with Scottie down. You know, Scottie's still the bus driver of this team. You could tell when he's out on the floor, but this team just has to get better. You're really talent deficient. So we need to get more talent on this team. But when you have a guy like him who's down, and then you have a guy like Quickly, You have a guy like Bruce Brown, say what you want about him, the guy still knows how to play basketball. Like he's been on some championship team. When you're down a lot, it is tough to. It's tough for a young team with little culture. Now they're not like Orlando. Orlando has culture, but it's hard for a team with no culture, basically, to get some of these wins when you need them.
Um,
Agreed. Beyond.
yeah, I think I thought that the week was what it was, but I would say I was looking at the contrast between the team, how the team looked with Scottie and how the team looked without Scottie. And what I mean by that is I found the Miami game, the pace was very is very obvious how much quicker the pace was without him than with him. I'm not saying it's better or not, just saying it was quicker. I
Yeah.
think the other thing I found, going back to Scottie in particular, is one of these things that we're gonna have to keep an eye on, folks, and it's a conversation folks don't like to have. But the injury, the injuries are starting to pile up a little bit. Um, there was an interesting tweet by someone we follow in this case here that had all the injuries that he's had, at least the major ones, and all of them come the same type of way, um, which is pretty much him coming over the back on an offensive rebounding type of situation. Something goes wrong. I will give credit to Scottie though, boy. When he gets taken out with some of the best though. I mean, we've had Jokic, Cat, and Embiid. It was really something to watch. It's like, wow, boy, he gets his money's worth when he gets injured. But on a serious note, that is something that has to be a bit concerning as a Raptor fan. This is like a trend that you see happening where it's like, okay, as seasons go on, is this going to be something that's going to be a recurring issue with this team where you have to start saying, okay, he's only able to play 50, 60 games at best, maybe, and you have to have an account for that. Besides that, everything else, the Raptors are outmanned, outgunned. I did find interesting one last point. I did find the Gradey Walter combination, appealing and interesting. I'm glad to see Darko made some adjustments as the game went on. I think he realized, which is something was quite obvious to see. He can't play if he's going to go over this line for the next few weeks. He cannot play without having two of these three guys on the court at the same time. Are the RJ, Walter, or Gradey? It can't be sustained. And all the runs in Miami had is when he tried to get away with having two of those guys on the bench, and usually that meant hell broke loose at that point. That's my thoughts about it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the last point, especially where you have a situation that these guys are growing. They're not ready to just man a unit on their own. There was some interesting moments where Scottie was manning units on his own, but who was with him, right? Walter usually or someone else. I don't think that there's a single person on this team that is really truly able to man a unit on their own. And so being able to kind of shuffle them around and stagger them in the right way, I think that's a learning process for the coach. Hopefully he develops in that way. And I think it's a good learning process. It also will give a chance for us to build some synergy with some of these guys. I know it's not everyone all at once. We probably won't get that this year. But something's better than nothing, and having some sort of form of synergy is good. And even the people that were worried about Jacoby and Gradey kind of working out together, um, looks fine to me.
Yeah, they
I think,
complement each other quite well, actually, and they seem to have a way. I'm not sure if they're bus buddies like back in the day, if they're buddies off the court or not, but
mm,
they seem to kind of have a little. They understand. They seem to play well off each other, and they kind of start to figure out each other's games quite well.
absolutely. In terms of the injury thing, we'll see. I mean, Scotty has played 15 games since February. I'm not including preseason. I think he might have. Did he go down a little bit in preseason too?
Oh, he came back late due to the baby personal stuff.
Okay, so he missed part of preseason. So yeah, I'm not including preseason anyways. So in terms of regular season games, he's played 15 since, sorry, not February, since March. So we'll give him an extra month. But literally March 1st. Which is when he went down, unfortunately. So, you want him to rest up. I'm not quite there yet. I know there were other people that were suggesting like Shea was a injury prone player at one point in his career. I said, no, stick with this guy. But you do start to get concerned. That's all. You just want him to
Yeah,
be healthy.
and I think
Um,
that is part of it. But I think I
there's
always say
also a conditioning factor in it too.
there's that, and I think it's also style play factor,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's and my concern is that he's not the most let me put it this way, graceful athlete, and I
What?
think
Yeah, it's like what I always say. Sorry, I'm interrupting more today, but it's like he doesn't have control of his body always, and all these awkward moves. He's so unpredictable that not only can his teammates not know, sometimes maybe his own body doesn't know where he's gonna land. I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean seriously. But sorry.
no, that's exactly it. Yeah, like he plants off the wrong foot at times. He lands on the wrong foot at times. I think I use the term spatial awareness. I find sometimes is lacking with him. Like, there's a ton of guys that are offensive demons off the glass, and you rarely see them get even injured, let alone get injured multiple times doing offensive rebounding. Like how it seems like he's had a pattern of doing. So it's just being aware of your surroundings and like where you are, so you don't get caught with elbows. You don't land funny in this case on people's like. There's just ways to go about it, and I think that is something I don't. I'm not sure at this point of his career you could teach him that. I think it's just instinctively that's how he plays. So it makes me a bit nervous moving forward, but we'll see. Hopefully everything goes well. But that is something to watch.
Well, you also shouldn't be going over the back anyways, but that's a whole other discussion.
Right, you're right. You could, you should go over the back. Obviously, technically, it's a foul, but nowadays,
Yeah.
I guess because a lot of people don't do offensive rebounding, the referees have forgot about it. So it's like, oh yeah, that technically is a foul.
Like it's a bit of a dangerous play for both the offender and the defender. But yeah, sorry, coach, you were gonna say?
For those who want to trade Pirtle and put him at center, this is the reason why you don't.
Well, yeah,
Well, it's
That's
just
what
happened with
I've been
his injury.
hinting at it for a while. It's
Yeah,
just like
yeah, no.
if Barnes was playing and you traded Pirtle, then what? Who plays center?
well,
And those same people want to cut Bruno Fernando.
yeah. Well, I think
So
that's never happened. But I think the scary consideration might be is does this deter him from being in the paint? And that is to me a bit of a bigger concern.
When the injury happened, beyond, you would probably know this better than me, but anytime a high ankle sprain, I think of Grant Hill and just how what happened to his career afterwards. I'm not inferring that's going to happen to Scottie. I'm just saying when I see that injury and how that injury happened, he's still 6'9", 240.
Mhm.
He's not like, he's like you said, the most graceful of athletes either. I know the notion came about him being injury prone. I don't think that's the case. I just worry about that one injury that could lead to that.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
had some unlucky circumstances that have come up.
right, because we forgot in this case he got injured in the playoff game, the first game, right? Like that's how
Exactly. It gets Embiid with the ankle too. I don't know if it's the same ankle or not, but
right.
I get worried about that a little bit,
But
especially since he's 23.
exactly. I mean, my only saving grace is that science and technology is better today than it was back then. So
Yes.
I think that's something that to be kind of hopeful about that he'll recover well. Ankle sprains don't seem to be as scary to players as they used to be. So I think he'll be okay there. My part is the psychological aspect of it is what I'm concerned about. Right? Is like does he have confidence to actually go in the paint in this case here and absorb contact? Like that's the psychological part he had to work through to get to where he wants to be, or where we want him to be in this case here, where a guy is getting to the line like 8 times a night. It's already been a kind of a struggle for him to get there prior to this last injury. How does that impact him moving forward?
yeah, and to be fair,
Question.
Grant Hill, I think he broke his ankle, but I hear you. Like you don't want Scottie to
When we think of that one,
get
we
a
think
serious
of
issue.
Paul George one, I guess the next closest. I think he was ankle too with the Olympic team.
No, it was higher than that.
No,
The
that was high. I think it was fibia.
yeah,
Was his fibia? Something like
yeah,
that?
the
Yeah,
whole
that
thing
was.
just snapped.
Yeah,
But
that was.
anyways, I don't want to go through a descriptive thing for the viewers.
That's why
Yeah, that
They're
was a bad
just
one.
like, oh, okay,
That's why you have up to now.
you have a barf bag.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, we'll put it up on the screen. No, slow motion replay. Blow it up real nice for you. Yeah, that's what we do on Basketball Rewind. We rewind what's important in basketball. In all seriousness, though, folks, getting back to the other things, what did you guys think about us kind of losing the national TV games? Because to me, that's a big deal. Like, we only get like two. We had two this year. We lost one. I don't ever remember us losing one.
I've seen other teams lose it in the past in this case here, but for similar circumstances. Once they think they're not going to be competitive, it's like, what are we doing here? Or the other one is even more insulting, where you keep getting blown out on national TV games. And
Yeah.
like, screw you, we're done with you, right? That's the one you really don't want. Where you're just getting blown out, you got your full complement pretty much, and you're like, nah, dude, we're done. For example, the Knicks for years was like the Christmas team, right? They're like how the Cowboys would be for Thanksgiving for the NBA. After about year 6 of the Knicks getting blown out on Christmas Day, it's like, you know what? I told my father, like, listen, and my father was agreeing as a Knicks fan. He's like, yeah, we need to come off Christmas Day. We're just getting embarrassed here. Either the first or second game, we get embarrassed in the Garden. It's like, yeah. And the Knicks were off Christmas Day for about 5-6 years because, like, we can't take any more of it, man.
Now, one final thing. Oh, Coach, go for it.
I love it. I don't mind it at all. It just shows you where you're at right now, and go get better. Then that's it. Because there's no team I feel in the U.S. no good U.S. team has been disrespected more than the Milwaukee Bucks.
I think so.
I think they've been really disrespected. I think the whole media is like, well, we got to show the big markets in New York and Boston and Miami, the Lakers. And there's been some years where it's like, where's Milwaukee? Where's Denver?
I think right now the team that's got that beef right now is Oklahoma City.
They're going to be another one too.
Right now they got no choice but to show. Ironically, we might get that soon enough. They got no choice but to show both of them pretty soon.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Molly, from First Take for calling him Stephen A. But wanting guys always to go to these big markets and stuff like that. That's
God bless.
Oh, she did that
Milwaukee's a
recently?
good basketball market.
Yeah,
She did that recently?
And it's not the first time she's kind of hinted at that. So
Good.
You're doing the Lord's work, Molly.
Because that's the thing, right? Like I think it's important to cover one of the reasons why we keep talking about new NBA partners, and we will have a better, more grander discussion on this. But the importance of the NBA's media partners goes back to that. You don't want the wrong media partners involved with your product. Because again, you hear, what was it, the other day I was listening to people talk about like, oh, this market or that market, and they're like, oh well, but LA plays once a week, and they kept talking about LA, and I'm like, I have no problem you talking about LA, but like there's other teams.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest LeBron fan, but I'm not a LeBron fan, if that makes sense. I appreciate his career. I've watched his entire career, but I'm not like an LA fan. I'm not. I don't need to talk about the Lakers every single time we talk about basketball. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say like ESPN does a fast food version of like sports commentary. Right?
Yes.
You're not going to get the healthiest type of meal in this case when you watch ESPN. So to be fair, they do it in the NFL as well too. Okay, the team with the star on their helmet, they get talked about. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It could be like a cold day in the middle of like February, and football's done. They're going to talk about the team with the star on their helmet every single chance they get. I don't know how many times I've seen in this case this year they talk about the Jets. The Jets are like 3-10 or something like that. And so that is something they do. I think to the perspective, what I think the difference between the two sports and how they're managed, there seems to be almost like a bit of at least when it comes to ESPN/ABC, there's like a bit of a wall on the quote the football announcers and football guys versus the big mouths that we're talking about on this side. And they've done a good enough job at least to keep the two separated. I don't know how much longer that's going to last because they're cracking at the doors right now. The doors at the pitchfork, they're trying to get in. And I think the NFL has done a good job of keeping that bay for now. Unfortunately, the NBA has been contaminated like no one's business, and we'll get into that another day.
But one final thing before we get into the NBA Cup is Dirk was announced. Right? Speaking of NBA media partners, He's going to be a big part of the Amazon broadcasting crew, if I'm not mistaken, moving forward. So that is interesting. They're getting former players involved. We've really talked behind the scenes about their coverage on the WNBA as well as the NHL. I'm interested to see what they do with that, and I've heard him speak on basketball a couple of times at least, and I don't mind what I hear at all.
Oh, no. Dirk's come on inside the NBA sometimes as a substitute for one of the other guys.
Yeah.
He plays in the sandbox quite well with those guys in this case here. And if you can handle those dudes, you'll be fine on Amazon. He's got a dry sense of humor. He's very witty. I think it's great also too if you're just thinking big like Amazon from an international audience standpoint. So he's a guy in this case, outside of the U.S. market. He's also quite known in this case. So I love the pick, and I think that the biggest point I made on Twitter about is or X, or whatever the hell it's calling itself. I said at the time, he's a fresh face. I'm so glad they went with a fresh face instead of getting I hate to say a retread, but that's the only word I could think of. Someone that was on the broadcast on TNT before or on ESPN before. And I'm not saying they won't get a couple of those guys on there. I'm not saying some of them aren't justified to get there. As before, I'm all for Jamal Crawford for either Amazon or NBC picking up. Same thing goes in this case here for my girl Candace Parker. I'm down with that. Both of them, whichever one can hire them, great. But I'm glad that Amazon's kind of making a line in the sand that we're trying to be different. We're trying to be a bit fresh, and this is what we're doing. So that's great stuff to see. I'm happy to hear that.
Also, Jalen Rose, NBC, obviously more for the college side for now, but that might be a prelude, to what might occur, because I could see them picking him up. It's a great pickup.
Fantastic. I mean, I think therefore, if he gets his old Michigan buddy to come along, hey man, I'm down with it, man. We go blue. We good.
You mean Weber?
I'm talking about Crawford.
Oh, gotcha. Because I was like, I don't know if Weber's gonna.
They beat up this case.
They have. But
Weber's been a hit and miss. I think from the public perspective, I don't think he's as bad as some folks might think he is. I don't think he's also the best out there. And so if we're gonna take a U of M alum, I take Crawford in this case.
That's fair. Okay, so speaking of the NBA Cup, we are at the championship game, which occurs on Tuesday. It's going to be the Bucks versus the Thunder. The Thunder won their game leading into this against the Rockets, and that became a chippy game. They've had a couple chippy games against one another, and it seems like that trend is going to continue moving forward. So...
shocked. Dylan
yes.
Brooks on the team. Fred can be a bit chippy himself, as we know. Shocked.
Absolutely. On the flip side of the bracket, we had the Bucks versus the Hawks. That also was quite interesting of a game. If I'm not mistaken, Trey had a very big game, but it was not enough. The Hawks have been rolling, coming into this, and they've kind of flown high. And I'm not saying that there is no pun intended there. But yeah, Trey had 35, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. Just wasn't quite enough. I'm not the biggest Trey fan.
Oh man, that man make you eat your words this year, boy, man. How's that taste, man?
He's shown up. That's all I gotta say. Respect. I respect it. Listen, I've always said he's an all-NBA player. He ain't my favorite. I'm sticking by that because he ain't my favorite, but good for him.
He is so good in fantasy. That's all I get to say.
Oh, he's always been great in fantasy. Except
points
for the field goal
assists
percentage.
And threes. Yeah, field, but everybody's perfect.
Yeah. But I mean,
I just love how he elevates his game for the big moments, man. And
he does.
A lot of guys get a lot of big numbers and get a lot of big money out here that don't do squat when it comes to big moments. I could always count that. If I stay on my couch for a big game, there's one guy I know is going to be there showing up on the big game. I never have to doubt.
No doubt.
My wife called my soft-haired friend, and she called. Right. No doubt. Boomer Sooners, man. Gotta love it, man. Always fun in Oklahoma.
Who are you guys picking for the NBA Cup? You guys going east? You going west?
Going OKC.
Me too.
They're
Shay's my
fun.
man.
They're exciting. They're without Chet right now doing this. I think Chet's the second best player on that team, or at least second most valuable in a sense. And I got to go with Shea and Dort for Canadian content on the team.
I'm gonna go with the Bratwurst guys, man. I think right now Milwaukee is really starting to hum, and right
Yeah.
now that man right there is playing with a certain purpose that I've seen few play, like this in a long time. Like, right now, that man, unless something changes, he is the MVP. Like that Milwaukee, like Giannis is playing out of his mind, and right now I want to know who OKC's playing to stop him because I don't see it. I don't see it. For a one-game scenario, yeah. If it's a series, give me OKC. For a one night, that man might go for 40 and 20 in Vegas. I'm going to sit with Milwaukee on this one, man. And your man likes the big moments too. He ain't shy from them either.
No, he don't shy
Let's
away
not
from the big
forget him.
moments. I've been forgetting about
Somebody.
I've been forgetting about Dame a little bit this
He
year.
might be waving bye-bye at someone. So I'm just saying, he ain't bashful when it comes to these type of moments either. So
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put it this way. When Giannis wants to, he can flip a switch, and he knows how to flip his own switch. He doesn't need no
Yeah.
motivation, T for togetherness, no back rub, nothing. He's just like, I'm not happy. Let's go fix that. I'm gonna go fix that. Hashtag I'm proving it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Obviously, there's you hope for the best. Milwaukee's always a fun team. They have been counted out a lot, which is funny because they do have the talent, like to make some noise.
we're not trading Giannis in this case here, no?
No,
Okay.
no.
That's what I heard.
I said if they're gonna do it, it's gonna be at the end of the year. If
It's some of the same jokers we were just talking about last segment.
true.
Again, NBA, thank you for making that change.
Now I'm gonna actually interject something that's away from our regularly scheduled programming and just say that Detroit made a move, and I will say that as of the filming of this, tomorrow, which will be when people view this, is December 16th, is when the trade moratorium ends. The move was to cut Paul Reed to get under the salary cap floor.
Ball Paul.
And if they don't make a move in the next less than 24 hours, that means that they are not going to be eligible for tax payments. Now, why would Detroit do this? I will say that Detroit might have something up their sleeve because them tax payments are serious. Any thoughts?
Sorry, they have to reach the cap.
They have to either
threshold?
sign someone. So here's the salary cap floor. They are now below it as of cutting.
Oh yes, that's
Paul
sorry,
Reed.
that's what I meant.
They need to either make a trade to get up there in 24 hours, or sign someone or whatever. Otherwise, they lose that luxury tax payments. To me, the only reason that you're doing that is because you have something lined up.
I would think it'd have to be a front court player.
Probably because they just cut one.
I know one or two that they could use from us.
I don't know. I'm not suggesting it's any of ours. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
But they might have a move, up the sleeve.
You wouldn't do that to me, Coach, man. I thought we were friends, man. You're not gonna do that to me, man.
I forget.
I want to experience on both ends of the block now.
Oh, it'd be so funny.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I don't know, man. Right now, we just looked at the other day, man. Be it for free agency or even what's at the market now, getting bigs right now is not easy.
Well, there's a rumor.
Oh boy.
Do you want to hear what the rumor is, be honest? So we can get your live reaction.
Sure, give me the rumor.
Vucevic.
Oh, the Vooch deal I was mentioning a couple of weeks ago.
To play next to Duran.
It's not bad.
I don't like the fit.
I kind of like the fit. because Vucevic don't have to be on the inside.
Yeah,
No,
that's how it looks. It's going to be interesting. That's all I'll say. I don't know what they're giving up. I'm not here to propose a trade here, anything like that. But yeah, coach, your thoughts? You don't like the deal, clearly.
not Vucevic there. Like if Vucevic with Harris, he could give up 150 points a game that way. Vucevic's having a great year, by the way. He's average. I think he's a double double, like 20 and 10.
Okay, but I guess the starting lineup would be like Vucevic, Duran at power forward, Harris now back as small forward, which is really what you should be playing.
Maybe.
They have the two guys in the backcourt. Odd man out in this case would be, who am I forgetting off the top of my head now?
Probably Holland or
Thompson or Holland.
No, Thompson was getting some touches at 3, and so it was like he would be the odd man out.
Fair enough.
Oh no, it was Beasley. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's whatever.
Sorry, Beasley.
All due respect to Vucevic, I mean his defense can't be any worse than Beasley's defense. So yeah, I mean that makes sense because I think Duran he could play center, but I still like Duran as a power forward. And he's gonna eat all the glass he wants. He's gonna block all the shots that you want. And Vucevic should do all the other stuff, which is like knock down, jumpers and stuff like that, and give you some post play when you want once in a while. This is the break a drought. Yeah, I'm down with it. They all get, as I said before, the most he can get based on the rumor a few weeks ago from Legion Hoops is like a couple second round picks. And whatever do we send with them in this case here. I don't know if we're gonna send anything worthwhile for him, but I'm not even sure what that would be in this case here because I don't see us moving off Isaiah Stewart anytime soon. But
I just find it interesting because a team usually doesn't give up on that free money for nothing. So
especially for a guy who just picked up.
Exactly. So something is not adding up. Something's brewing. And finally, obviously, yes, Dennis Schroeder was traded to the Golden State Warriors. Don't have really a big take or anything like that, so we can just kind of keep it moving. But congratulations to him for landing on a team that
Draymond going at it.
That's going to be interesting. You have two menaces on a team, that's for sure. They get some backcourt depth. It was interesting because I did hear rumors of Pod saying that he doesn't want no minor role. Well, we'll see about that. So, moving along. Folks, like, comment, subscribe on your way out. Hope you enjoyed the episode. And stay safe.